I'm Stephen Levy, the Managing Director of Handy Dryers, and today we're going to talk about part of our Gorillo range, specifically the Gorillo and the Gorillo Professional, or Pro as we call it. Now, to look at these machines, they actually look identical. The differences are inside, not outside. The Gorillo Pro has the benefit of a brushless motor in it. Essentially, it's the same noise and the same power as a standard unit, but the motor itself will last up to 10 times as long, and that's why you're paying extra for that extra technology. The other difference you'll notice between the two of them is that the Gorillo Professional has a Hepa filter as standard within it. Now, with the standard Gorillo, you can buy a Hepa filter and add it on, but it doesn't come as standard. And the final difference between the two is the amount of warranty we put on them, of the Professional having a much longer warranty because it's got the longer life motor. So let's take a look at a unit in more detail, and we'll do a little bit of hands-in hand dryer education as we go. First thing to notice with this unit is that if you look inside here where your hands go, there's a hole at the bottom. And now the hole there is for water collection, so as the water is scraped off of your hands, it rolls down here and through that hole. It runs down a tube inside the machine and then comes out at the bottom into this water tray. And then the water tray is removed for easy cleaning. If you look at the bottom there, you can see this is the other end of the tube for the water. We even provide a large pipe cleaner so that you can clean it and make sure the unit is always running at its absolute best. Underneath the unit is this tray. Now you can see inside there, that's a Hepa filter. So the air comes in through the back there and goes through the Hepa filter before it goes into the machine. The tray literally slips quite neatly underneath the unit there. Now that means that the air that's flowing through the machine is being cleaned of germs before it actually gets to your hands. Things that it's important to look out for on any hands-in dryer are, one is the aperture size. You need to make sure it's big enough that you can get your hands in. At the end of the day, any hand dryer is going to get contaminated with the splash off of people's hands. And if the gaps here are too narrow, then it's inevitable your hands are going to be touching the sides and you'll end up picking up more dirt than you're actually cleaning off in the unit itself. Second thing to look out for is the sides of the units. Water on some units, especially ones that don't collect the water, will run down the outside. And you'll see from lots of popular hands-in hand dryers, you'll see puddles on the floor on both sides of the unit. Now, when you look at this, it's been designed particularly with flat panels here. What you want to look out for and really try and avoid is any unit that's got a seam running down the side, because that's where the water will run to. It'll get into the seam, it becomes impossible to clean, and then runs down onto the floor. So for that reason, this has been designed with no seams here, and also no seams in the middle of the tray either, so that water can't gather there or do any damage. Now looking to the control side of the machine, at the top of the unit here you've got a little door, and that reveals the switching inside. Now we've got the main power switch, we've got a hot and cold switch. Now that allows us to turn off the main heating element inside. As it stands, this unit is about 1.6 kilowatts of power it's using. If you turn the heating element off, it goes down to about 550 watts. So just over half a kilowatt of power. So that means it's using, if it was on constantly, it would be using something like 6 pence per hour to run the machine. If it was on 24 hours a day, and of course it's not, it's on for about 12 seconds when you dry your hands. So the cost of running it is incredibly low. If you want to take that one stage further, and this is also useful if you've got children around, there's another switch here which allows you to turn the actual power of the motor down itself. So that's reducing the power it's using even more, but more importantly, it's less aggressive, there's a little bit less noise, and children feel more comfortable with the unit then. So this other button here on the top left, it says either automatic heating or all-time heating. Now effectively what this is doing is allowing you to decide whether you want the heating element to be turned on all the time, or whether you want the heating element to be controlled by the internal sensor, which is monitoring the ambient air temperature. So that means when it gets really hot in the room, it'll turn the heater down, and when the room's cold, it'll turn the heater back up again. So it's another way of automatically saving a lot of your energy bill by letting the machine decide for itself when it wants to have the heating element on or not. Okay, so now we're going to see how well the unit actually works in practice. So we've got our standard setup, water sensitive paper, warm water, and the hand dryer. So I put my hands in the water here, let's get them really wet, shake off the excess, and into the hand dryer. So we've gone there for about a 12 seconds hand dry time. If I put my hand onto the paper, you can see there's virtually no water left on them at all. Now the final thing I wanted to show you before we turn this machine off is actually to do a sound check on it. So we've got here our digital meter. We're about a meter away from the unit, so let's turn that on. And I'll set it, so if we have a look at the readings there, you can see it's measuring how many decibels. Now if we put the hand dryer on, so you can see we're going up there to the 76, 77, maybe occasionally 78 decibel mark. That's pretty good for a hand dryer. To give you an equivalent, I think the Dyson machine is standard at 84 decibels is what they publish on their website. So much, much quieter.